So this is obviously getting way ahead of schedule here, but hypothetically speaking, Iran is free, life is good. How do we like how do we prevent this from happening again? What safeguards do we need to put in place to prevent any type of authoritarian Islamist or military situation like the IRGC from taking control again? What laws have to be in place? Like how, because I mean, yeah, a lot of IRGC people and Durkas are going to leave or get sent to court or whatever. So that's fine. But there's still going to be lurking amongst the people and maybe, planning the next takeover, so to speak. So, like, how do we just minimize the risk, basically? Is my
I,
question.
okay, so I'll tell you the one reason why I'm not concerned about this, but then also how could we improve the chances that this would not happen. I genuinely think that once the Islamic Republic falls, there is not a chance in hell that the Islamic Republic will go back to tyranny ever again, right? And that's mostly because the Iranian people are fucking done with not having democracy. They have been waiting for this forever. And the Iranian people break their chains, I don't see them nobody ever being able to put them back in chains ever again. And these groups that you're mentioning, they will, I mean, they're a minority. The only reason why they have the upper hand right now is because they have all the oil and gas revenue, and they have all the guns, right? Once you take the oil and gas revenue away from them and we have an army, they will not be in a position to be able to retake Iran. They would be our Hamas, okay? They would be at most our Hezbollah, okay? So they will be a problem. They would be to us exactly what Hamas is to Israel, but they would be as likely to be able to take over Iran again as Hamas will be able to, I don't know, one day rule over Israel. Okay. And I don't think that's also unlikely as well. Um, they would lose all their sources of revenue and more everything. But I think there are many ways to try to secure Iran to remain democratic. There's like, and I could go through the list, but for the structure of the government, the constitution, the liberties that people have, all of those things are important. But I think the number one most important thing that we could do in Iran is to have our version of the Second Amendment. I think we need to have an armed population, and I think that's the best guarantee for us not to go back to a tyranny ever again. So that's what I think we need. I mean, there's many things, but I think that's the number one thing that will stop that. That helps exactly. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Uh,
That would be
Abdallah,
awesome.
Oh,
Abdallah has an input in this as well. And just a reminder, we have about 6 minutes left.
okay.
Okay, I'm just trying to be quick. I think the most effective way to prevent something like 79 happening again is to follow the common sense. It's like when Khomeini came to Iran, it was literally everything was there. He had a book written, and all his bullshit was in the book. It was there, but nobody just bothered to go read what this guy says, what kind of jibber jabber kind of ideology this guy has, and nobody bothered to just read. And now uh, I hear some people say, Okay, so what if Princess of Pahlavi comes back to Iran and starts a dictatorship? I'm like, where do you come from? Like, do you even follow this guy? What he says, what he believes? How can you compare this guy to someone like Khomeini? It's like I cannot comprehend this level of madness, like comparing these two people. Yeah, that's my whole point. It's like follow common sense. That's all I say.
Okay, and to just to be clear, I mean, I know you weren't responding to Lior, but Lior wasn't talking about Princess of Pahlavi becoming a tyrant, but just the remnants of the Islamic Republic. gaining back power. Just to be clear with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
would just like a
Yeah, I
side
know,
side point.
I know that, I know.
But
I
also,
know.
either way, a dictatorship under Prince Reza Pahlavi would be better than a dictatorship under the
Yes,
mullahs.
yes,
So we'll take it.
yes, Nar. Yes, people are like, oh, Pahlavi will become a dictator. Even if that was true, it would
Yeah.
be heaven compared to the dictatorship that we have under the Islamic Republic. That's such a good point, Nara. That's such a good point.
All right.
Um,
So, Armin, you put a topic, I think, from one of the super chats on Islamic reform.
you're right.
Do you
Yes.
want to talk about that?
But let me do the current because we got 5 super chats all of a sudden. So let me just
Okay.
read the super chats and then I'll go respond to that super chat. So thank you,
Oh,
everybody. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. What? You want to say something, Nara?
Oh, I wanted to say you have 3 minutes, but I think it's a good time for super chats. Go for it.
Okay. Let me and yeah, I can just do a few minutes extra. And thank you so much for being so you guys are lovely. Always being considerate about my time. Thank you. And I don't know how to pronounce your name. Sorry, saying Trump fish. Trump fish. Thank you so much for the super chat. I don't know. I know there's a Trump fish meme, but I don't know if that's what's referring. I know there's a fish that looks like Trump, but I don't know what this is referring to. But thank you for the super chat. And Texas Troop saying number eight super chat. Thank you so much for getting us close to the to the finish line. It's like you're always very supportive. Thank you so much. And Inverser, thank you so much getting 1 membership gift for people in the chat. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you for being supportive. Love you guys. And then we have Fleshy Interloper saying number 10. You did it, Fleshy Interloper. You got us to the finish line 10. And then after that, and thank you guys. And then after that, we had Amir, as usual, always being supportive. Thank you so much. Saying join Armin Liberty Politic group discussion. Can't you tell it's top tier? Yes, can't you tell? Guys, I'll put the link in the chat again. Join this discussion group that you're watching right now. It's also the link is also in the description and it's in you could get to it by scanning that QR code as well. Thank you, Amir, for always supporting us. Okay, so Sarah gave us a super chat saying, what are your thoughts on Islamic reform? A lot of people say Islamic reform is not possible. I actually don't agree. I think Islamic Republic is possible and it's a fucking horrible idea and we should not let it happen. Islam, people say Islam cannot reform. Islam has reformed many times and it made everything worse every time we allow it to reform. If you don't allow Islam to reform, Islam will die. Islam survives because we allow it to reform. You shouldn't allow it to reform. Every time Islam reforms becomes more radical, less radical. Islam is flexible. It sometimes reforms and gets more radical. It sometimes reforms and it gets less radical. The thing is that every time it acts less radical, it's because it's being threatened. It needs to act less radical to be able to survive that period that is under attack. Okay, it's like to me, Islam is like a dragon. And then when you're fighting it with your sword and all of a sudden you have the upper hand, you've injured it, it's on the ground, you're above it, and you have the sword in your hand and you could basically push it right through its heart. It all of a sudden turns into a cute little puppy because it knows that it's being defeated. And you're like, okay, what the fuck? I don't want to kill this cute little puppy. And it doesn't look like harmful anyways. It doesn't look like it's dangerous anyway. So you walk away and it heals and it goes back to being that fucking evil, dangerous dragon that it always was. And this is what I'm telling you. When that dragon turns into a puppy, don't stop. Push that sword into its heart. Finish the fucking job. So, yes, Islam can reform, but you should not allow it. Okay. Here's the thing Muslims reforming is a good thing, Islam reforming is a bad thing. Muslims reform by being less Islamic. Okay. And you can see how poisonous Islam is that Muslims, I don't see. Here's the thing if a Muslim is saying I'm reforming by having a different interpretation of Islam, that is not reform. Okay. A Muslim is reforming by living a less Islamic life. Every time a Muslim is kinder or a better person or more secular or more accepting or tolerant or whatever or more peaceful, that does not mean that Islam could be peaceful. That only means that this Muslim is living a less Islamic life. it's moving away from Islam. Okay, so a Muslim reforming means that they are living a less Islamic life. That's how I see a Muslim reforming. Okay, so Muslim reforming is a good thing because they're moving away from Islam and there's less Islam in their life. Islam affects less of their behavior. Islam reforming is a bad thing because the only thing Islam could do that makes us happy is die. Okay, and we got a $50 super chat. Holy hell. Okay, thank you so much, Marco of Reality, for the super chat. We don't usually get pink super chats on our channel, but thank you. You give us a lot of pink super chats. Holy crap. So Mark is saying on the Second Amendment, on the point that we were making about Iranian people getting armed so that once we're free, we will never go back into chains ever again. Marco Reality saying on the Second Amendment, it works best if you have the First Amendment. Such a good, yes, exactly. The whole, yeah, exactly. The whole point of the First Amendment is to protect the First Amendment, and the Second Amendment wouldn't work very well without the First Amendment. Such a great point. Love that you said it. So yeah, freedom of speech and religion. Yeah, freedom from religion, not just freedom of religion, freedom from religion as well. Also, your Second Amendment must have an explicit right to self-defense. Otherwise, the judges will play stupid interpretation games. Okay, that's a very interesting point. I actually have to look into the history and arguments that eventually led to the Second Amendment, because that's going to be a big topic after Iran is free. And yes, Mark, thank you so much for that. Actually, I'm going to screenshot that because that's something I'm going to bring up in discussions in the future. Okay.